근데 네 앞에서는 괜찮은데.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the FMV Archive. Today we are seeing if your heart will melt like ice cream in the smooth summer rays of the South Korean sun with Summer's Heartbeat. Yes, we're doing this game is from Story Taco. They've done games like Five Hearts Under One Roof, Don't Fool Me Beauties, Beauties in the Stranded, and Heroin Through the Lens, I believe is theirs as well. They've done a lot of these dating simulation games. They're known for being goofy and mild sexuality poised throughout the games. We're going to dive right into our 10-point system and find out if this is a game that you should be playing. We're going to start with the story. This is always the most important part of a Story Taco game. And this one starts with you. You're Min Yun, and you are going out to the countryside because your family is in a wild amount of debt. Why? I'm not quite sure, but you're going out to the countryside with a grant from the government to start a cafe in a small village. Now, when you get there, you meet the village elders. You team up with Fury, your ex-flame from your childhood is there. You also meet the princess of the town, who's the daughter of one of the elders. A 20-year-old runaway? Is that a thing, I guess? And she is stealing apples from the villagers there. She is a part of this. And you'll also be introduced to a dominatrix loan shark. Hey, why not? You'll be thrown into very silly Three's Company like, there's a reference for the kids, goofy sitcom scenarios that you need to kind of navigate through. I found the story wasn't as campy as Five Hearts Under One Roof series. This one's a little bit more straightforward. I find there's a little bit less humor in this one than the other ones, and a little bit less toned down sexuality as Don't Fool Me Beauties or Five Hearts Under One Roof 2. It still is silly, it still is zany, but I wish there was even a little bit more of the insanity to the stories. We'll give it a 5 overall for the story. You're trying to start up this cafe to pay off your debt, and that's kind of it. You don't get all that much craziness with this. Number 2, the gameplay. There's a lot of scenes to unlock on this one. If you've ever played a Story Taco game before, you are going to go on a lot of diverging paths. It's a choose-your-own-adventure game where you want to raise your heart level with all the women in the game. So the choices that you make, you want to impress these women and see the hearts go up. You can also do things to disappoint them and the hearts go down. Occasionally, there's a quick time event, and occasionally you can get an item from these women that you'll use to unlock something later in the game. Now, the one thing that is removed from previous Story Taco games is progression locks. Five Hearts Under One Roof, you couldn't get to the next chapter unless you had the requisite amount of hearts to get through to that. So that is eliminated. You can always get through the next chapter. You can even, when you get to the end, it would always be you can only pick the girl that you have enough hearts with. This time you can pick any of them. Now, you're not going to get the good endings with them if you don't have a high enough heart level, but you can at least see an ending with them. It'll be a bad ending, but at least you'll get to it. So a lot of those locks and a lot of the hidden stuff that is in the normal Story Taco games, I think there's a little bit less of that. And for some people, they're going to like this. This is definitely a quality of life thing. You're not getting stuck as much, but I like the challenge of unlocking all that stuff. So I'm going to give it a 4 overall for the gameplay. Number 3, the look and the graphics. Something that is always good on Story Taco games. Their interface, their layout of everything makes a lot of sense. It looks very good. The lighting is always good. Everything looks good in Story Taco. The FMV scenes are very good. They're very clean. You're not going to see a shot of the cameraman in any of the mirrors or any of the glasses of any of the people on there. It's very good. I like the locations for this one. Really nice small village, beautiful landscape in the background. 10 overall for the look and the graphics. Did a very nice job with this. Number 4, the dialogue. I wish there was more humor in it. The other ones were definitely more humorous, more zany. You would get things like Under Five Hearts Under One Roof if you played that sausage guy. Very interesting, crazy things happen in those ones, and there's less craziness in this. Comes out in the dialogue. Definitely not as silly as the other ones. The other girls would say very, very silly, overly sexual things to you on this one. This one is definitely toned down. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of TNA in this. There's still a lot of weird sexuality stuff, but it's definitely less than the other ones. I like it to be a little bit more silly. I didn't think it was as silly as the other ones. That said, I would give the dialogue a 6 overall. It's still okay. Number 5, the consequences of your decisions. There's a whole bunch of story paths on this one. There's a story path essentially with every one of the women on this one. There's also some other alternative story paths. Not as much as the other ones, though. I think they definitely have a little bit scaled back the kind of different things that are hidden on this game. If you do like content, if you do like seeing a lot of scenes, there's a lot of scenes in this. There's a lot of different interactions that you have with these women. Consequences, definitely an 8 overall. There's a lot of stuff to look at. Number 6, the acting. Don't expect anybody to be getting an Oscar nomination for this one or any of the previous ones. These are very silly comedic things that are played kind of oddly, and they do it well. My only complaint, it's probably more with the writing, more with the dialogue, is couple of these women are kind of the same character. You have the dominatrix loan shark one, and she's kind of unique and different. The other ones in there, they kind of all meld into one character. There's not too much different, and their stories aren't wildly different. They're all doing the same thing. You have the runaway, okay, she's a little bit different, but kind of acts similar to the other ones. Thought they could have made them a little bit more unique characters. I think the Elder is pretty good in this. Plays kind of the old Mr. Furley. There's another great reference for people. He plays that kind of odd, goofy character, and I think he does it really well. The acting is okay, but it could be a little bit better, I think. A 6 overall. Number 7, direction cinematography. Really good job. Lighting is perfect on this. The girls are supposed to look good in this game, and they do look good. Have good angles on them on this one. They have sexually suggestive angles on this one, as you'll see here.
네, 빨아주세요.
그럼 얼른 벗어.
Listen, this game has one goal, and it is to Google at women and just ogle over them, and it does that. So we're going to give it 10 over 10. It accomplishes exactly what it wanted to accomplish with the direction of the cinematography. Music and sound design, one of the better ones, I think, for the Story Taco games. I think they do a really good job mixing in the sound with this one. The music for it is good. Think of like upbeat pop music. That's kind of what we have here. The background music as you're playing the game always fits in. It's never overpowering. It's never overbearing. It's always really adequate for whatever scene is going on. I think they do a perfect job with the music and the sound design. 10 over 10, 10 out of 10 for both of those categories. Number 9, inventiveness. What did Story Taco add to the dating simulation genre that they have kind of had for a couple years here? Not much. They got rid of it. I'd say they make it easier to play. That's not what I like, but I think a lot of people will enjoy that. That is easier to kind of progress through the game. Less hidden stuff. I wanted more of that. They took that out. They did add more items into this. I think this one has the most items that you could find on the game. Those items will unlock paths to get good endings at the end of the game. The one thing they did add in this is in between the chapters, there are more like TNA vignette, these voyeurism scenes in there where you're watching the girls take a bath in the creek that is by there. You're watching the dominatrix whip the crap out of stuff. You're watching someone rub their feet, okay? So if you like those weird type of fetish videos, those are kind of in between each of the chapters if you do well with each of the women in there. And you'll get little ones on there that you can unlock and rewatch at your leisure. Well, that's new. I didn't think they added enough new stuff to this. 4 overall for the inventiveness. Most importantly, number 10 on our list of 10 things, fun. How much fun did I have playing this? Listen, these games are not invented for me. I'm not a dating simulation / stare at beautiful women type of game player. But that said, I do enjoy the goofy parts of it. I didn't find this to be as goofy as the other ones. The storylines were much more linear in this and made much more sense and actually followed something that was coherent, which I don't like. I like it to be zany. I had a 4 overall for fun with this one. I've definitely had more fun playing other Story Taco games. That brings us to a final score of a 67. But what is the final verdict? Should you be shelling out? It's about $20 on Steam right now to play this game. If you love the other Story Taco games, I would say go for it. It's very similar to that. Just understand that if you're there for the story and the insanity of the story, it's definitely toned down. If you liked the sexuality part of the 5 Hearts Under One Roof 2, that is way toned down from this version. If you want more of a cozy game that you can kind of rip through and play with ease and see a lot of different scenes, this one is definitely the best of those. I wanted it to be more insane. I wanted it to be off the wall crazy. It wasn't that for me. What I do hope was for you is this episode. All we do is FMV gaming, whether it's weird dating simulations from across the globe, sexy thrillers from the United States from 1993, or anything in between. We will do those types of games. If you have a game that you think that we should be doing, please put it here in the comments. We would love to get to it at some point. We have a deep queue of games that we have to play, but we will always look for something unique. Thank you. Have a good one.